Hello, everyone. I am so excited to start off the Rediscover Your Stash hop for September. The focus over in the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group is Sequins, some of my absolute favorite products ever, and we're going to have a ton of fun with our sequins today. I am going to start with my background, so we're going to play with a fall photo today. And if you watched my cherry challenge this month, on the 15th of September is when I went live, you saw me we used the Scraptember sketch and I made these little blobs on my page because that was what was on the sketch. I made them with some aqua pigments and they turned out so good. It was my favorite mixed media layout background I've ever made. Like, I loved it so much. And so I thought for today's video, maybe I would go ahead, or for today's project, maybe I'd go ahead and use that technique to create another mixed media background. And you guys, I think this turned out just as good. I'm super excited to try more takes on this background. I don't know what it is. I love it. I love it so much more than like smushing. I don't know if it's because I have more control. I don't know what it is, but it works a treat and I love it. So I wanted to add some mixed media, some watercolor behind my photos. I have two different colors of aqua pigments from British Monroe. I have plum and I have peach. You saw me kind of map out where I want these watercolors to be. So I kind of put my picture down, pulled my picture up, and then I drew these little blobs. These blobs are the best things ever. And inside the blobs, I am then using a mini mister and I am doing a wet on wet technique. So I am spraying the water onto my paper and then I'm coming in with a paintbrush and some of the pigment and I'm just letting the pigment kind of move and blend and follow the water where it wants to go. And I'm making sure to kind of squidge up the edges so the edges don't stay in those perfect little blob shapes. I am sure that I'm not the first person to do this. I'm sure that there's someone else that does it, that does the mixed media or the watercolor like this. For me, I feel like my brain likes this better. I have never been someone who likes the smushing technique. I have never been someone who, I don't know. I've never really liked it. But I feel like this gives me control to a great degree. And I am just loving how it turns out. Once I had the plum watercolor kind of moving the way I want it, I went ahead and dropped in some gilded aqua pigment. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a spray to each of those so I dropped with the dropper the aqua pigment into the plum, hit it with a little bit more water, and I just pounced my paintbrush into it, and now I'm coming in with dry paper towel and I am just kind of soaking up anywhere that there is a little bit of a puddle. So anywhere that there seems to be like just a little bit of a puddle or water seems to be pooling where it's getting really wet, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pounce those sections up. Now I'm going to come in with the peach aqua pigment and I'm going to do the same thing. So I first sprayed the mini mister inside of my little blob. Now I'm just kind of plopping in some of that color, letting it do its thing, letting it follow the trail of the water, letting it kind of bloom and go where it wants to go. Dropping in the gilded aqua pigment, hitting each of those little droppers with a little bit of water, and then again coming in kind of pouncing and getting that gold worked through. the aqua pigment and then blotting up any kind of extra pooling of water. You need the water to keep things moving, but once it's started to pool, it's kind of given its all, so then go ahead and get it off of your paper. This will help with warping as well. I am using hot press watercolor paper. This is my favorite paper for mixed media. One more little check to see if my photo is going to fit where I want it to, and I'm going to set this aside to dry thoroughly. Check out how gorgeous that is. Ah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I am going to go ahead and start assembling my layout, starting with some solid color washi tape. I have this lovely peachy strip that matches the collection, and it matches the colors I'm going to use today. So I'm going to put a strip of that washi tape across the top and across the bottom, and that's just going to kind of anchor my layout so it has a definite like stopping and starting point. And embellishments for today, we're using Plum Grove from 49 and Market, and I am going to go ahead and map my photo on this little card. This is a piece of ephemera from the ephemera pack. 49 and Market ephemera pack usually has these larger pieces of thick, heavy paper, and this one has like the one edge is already like distressed and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to map my photo. And now I am taking a bunch of strips. So I have pattern paper strips, I have some solid strips, I have some branding strips. You can see them all kind of laid out there on the right, and I'm going to stack these strips up one on top of the other and cut them at different lengths until I get to close to the bottom of my layout. Not quite all the way to the bottom. I want a little bit of separation between the washi tape at the bottom and the strips below my photo. Once I know the order I want my strips to go in and how I kind of want them to look, I am going to go ahead and ink up all the edges with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink and then adhere them to my page. I've gone ahead and pulled together some laser cut elements from this collection as well. I'm going to audition some of them. I know that I want a little cluster to the left and to the right of my photo. I thought about putting another little cluster down towards the bottom of the page where you see that little picture frame, where you see the little frame, but in the end I'm not going to do that. You'll see why. Our Sequins, which is the product focused for this hop, is going to come into play, and I'm going to decide I don't want a cluster at the bottom because I didn't want this layout to get too busy. Once I'm happy with all of these clusters and where I have them kind of auditioned onto my page, I'm going to grab my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and adhere everything down, since I am working mostly on a mixed media layout and a mixed media background. I really want to use my Deluxe adhesive. If you watched my haul from earlier this month, you saw that I had purchased these ultra fine tip precision tips for my glue, and I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm actually going to use the fine tip nozzle. This is something that I absolutely love about this. You can, right now the fine tip nozzle is on, and I'm using it to cut or to glue down all of these little delicate laser cut elements, right? But then it's time to start playing with the sequins. So in the words of my dear friend Nicole, we got to glue it up. So I took the nozzle off of the glue, and nothing was gooky, nothing was gunky, nothing. Great, perfect. What I am doing here is based off of a tutorial that my friend Nicole Santos did for Spiegel Mom Scraps YouTube channel. We have been kind of revamping and working on that YouTube channel to have there be more tutorials and more like more information type things, more technique type videos, so that if you ever want to have like a go-to resource place for how to use sequins, you can always find a playlist over there that will give you lots of ideas. And one of the ideas that was recently put up, Nicole did a whole tutorial on how to do these sequin clusters in a line. That's what she calls the tutorial. I will link the tutorial in the description box. It's so cool. And I don't want to go too much into what I'm doing, but I will show you the end result in a second. Check that out. So gorgeous. That is going to finish off my layout for today. Be sure to head down to the description box so that you can watch the tutorial, so that you can play along with the hop and get lots of sequin inspiration this month. If you have not joined the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group, you can find a link to that in the description box. Both of the sequin mixes that I use, the Plum to Nut Light and the Love You Latte, are both still available over in the shop. So I will link all available products. I know the aqua pigments are still available. Of course, my glue is. A lot of the Plum Grove is out of stock, but that's okay. I'll see what I can find for you. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and be sure to hop along and say hello to everyone else on today's hop. Bye.